Hello, in this video 6.2 in the textbook we're talking about areas under the standard normal curve. In the previous section 6.1 we talked about normal distribution curves, and it simply looks like this. It's a nice bell-shaped curve, and we know that the area underneath the curve is equal to 1. And so we learned in the last video that you can convert normal distribution curves with a mu and a standard deviation to a z-score using, I'll just write out the equation. It's z equals x minus mu divided by sigma. Obviously these are not the symbols that we've seen in the textbook or discussed in the last video, but mu is the average or the mean, and then sigma is the standard deviation. And so you would use that to create your z-scores. And so, or the z-curve, which would be something just like this, the bell-shaped curve, and then you will have 0 at the middle, and then you have +3 and -3 at the far ends. And so what we're doing now is finding the area within the curve. And figure 6.18 illustrates really nicely how do we solve for the areas under the curve, whether it's on the left of the z-score, whether it's the right of the z-score, or in between two z-scores. And so in order to do any of these, you must have this table. It makes life so much simpler. In the textbook, it's known as table 2 in the back. So you will need that in order to complete problems like this. And so if we are looking for the area to the left of the z-score, we simply just look it up in the table. If we're looking for the area to the right of the z-score, we will just do 1 minus the area of the left. And if we're looking for the area in between two z-scores, it will be the area to the left of z2 minus the area to the left of z1. And so we are going to apply that to these two problems here. So if you were a little bit confused, we'll just put them into practice, and I think it should bring some clarity. So we'll begin with 6.59 in the textbook, and it instructs us to determine the area under the standard normal curve that lies to the left of 2.24, -1.56, 0, and -4. And so in order to do these problems, we need to locate table 2 in the textbook, because that is how we're going to get the area. And so the first one is 2.24. Well, I'm going to switch over to the textbook. This is table 2. And so you have the z-scores listed here, and then underneath here are the areas that we're going to choose as answers. So we were told to locate 2.24. So we'll go down here, we find 2.2, then we have to go across to where we see 4, and then we land on this number here, 0.9875. So that is the first answer, 0.9875. And the reason why that makes sense, because when we construct the z-curve, 0 is at the center, +3 is at the far right, -3 is at the far left. 2.24 is very close to 3. We know that the sum of the area inside the curve have to equal to 1, as like 100%. So 2.24 is very close to 3, so 98.75%. So that makes sense to me. So that's just a way of making sense of the numbers. Part B, it tells us to find the area to the left of -1.56. So once again, if you see the z-score, 0 is in the center, -3 is at the far end, -1.56 is right here. It's less than 0. So the area here to the left should be much less than the first one, 2.24. All right, and so that's our assumption. Let's confirm it by looking at the table. If you look here, the z-scores are all positive, so we can't use this page. So we go to the next page, and you see the negative z-scores, which are good. And we go to -1.5, which is right here. Go all the way across till we see 0.06. And we have an answer of 0.0594. And I would challenge you to look these up yourself and to confirm that I found the right numbers. So the next one is 0, and this one should be an easy one for us. The reason why I can say that it's going to be 0.5 because 0 is at the center. The area underneath the curve is 1, and 0 is at the center of 1 is half. So half of 1 is 0.5. Okay, but for those who are skeptical and don't believe me, I'll just go straight to the table here. And so the z-score 0.0, notice that is the negative, meaning that negative just means to the left of. So to the left of 0.0, you have it right here, 0.5. If you're still not convinced, z-score 0, no negative sign, and 0 here is 0.5. Okay. And the last part D, -4. So once again, you got the z-score. The z-scores that ranges from -3 on the far left to +3. You don't really have a -4, but we'll see. We should already have an idea of what the answer is going to be for that. So we see that the z-score they give us is -3.9, and then we see that as a 0. Okay, and then notice that it has this little asterisk, and there's a little note here at the bottom. So for z-scores less than -3.9, the areas are 0 to the 4 decimal places. Okay, so it will be 0.0000. Okay, so that's 6.59. Let's go to 6.63. Now that we have an idea and that we're a little bit better and comfortable with using a table, we should be able to do 6.63. I'm not going to be able to do all of these problems because it will make the video very, very long, but just to get an idea of what we're trying to accomplish. So it says determine the area under the standard curve that lies between, and then you see that we have two numbers here. So this follows letter C, where you have two z-scores, and so the way we solve this is that we have to locate, we're still going to use the table, locate the area of z2 and minus it from the area and left of z1, and that will be the answer. Okay, so for part A, we'll do that right now. It says -2.18 and 1.44. So I will locate -1.44, positive 1.44, and it gives us 0.9251. Okay, and then we have to look up the other number, negative 2.1 right here, and then go all the way across to 8. There we go, and then it's 0.0146, and so it will be we have to subtract those two, so it'll be 0.9251 minus 0.0146, and that should give us an answer of 0.9105. And let me just expand this box. So that's letter A. And then the last one, and the last one I'm going to do for this video, unfortunately. I'm not going to be able to do the rest. But I would highly recommend that you do over what I did and also do the last remaining, the two remaining letters. So negative 2 and negative 1.5. We go back to the table. We're at the negative z-score, so it's good. So negative 1.5, where are you? Right here, negative 1.5. And so it just comes down to 0, because it's technically 1.50. So it'll be 0.668, and then the next one is 2. So negative 2.0. You are right here, negative 2.0, and it's 0.0228. Okay, and so we'll write those two down, subtract them, and then that's the area. So be 0.0668 minus 0.0228, and that gives us 0.0044. Okay. And so, just wrapping up this video, it was about the areas under the standard curve. We use the table 2 in the textbook to locate the areas. And so, if we wanted the area left of the z-score, we just look up the table and it tells us. If we want the right of the z-score, we just do 1 minus that area that we are given in the table. And then if we're given two z-scores and you want to know the area in between, you have to subtract the area of z2 minus z1, and that will give you that. And that is how you solve these problems. Thank you.